Well, hello, hello. This is Rosa, rcgkreations. How are you doing? Let me turn my camera so I can see. How's it going? Today we're bringing to you two mixes that we're going to pre-make. I used to have them in a half-a-gallon jar, but we just weren't baking because we're trying to, everybody knows we're in our, my subscribers know we're on, hubby and I are on a weight loss program, and we're doing okay, not great, but we're still on track, and we're still losing a little here, a little there. But what we're doing is, because we're on this weight program, we're staying away from a lot of pastas, breads. We still eat them, but we don't eat near as much as we used to. But there's some things we just aren't ready to give up, totally give up. But we're doing a less amount. Like before, we would used to eat like 2 burgers. And that's 2 pieces of buns, top and bottom. So what we've done now is we've cut out the buns altogether. So now we're just eating all the insides of a burger with no buns. So we're doing little things like that to offset on cheat days. Because let's be realistic, everybody's going to have a cheat day here and there. Because this is a lifestyle change, it's not a diet. So anyway, let's get back on track. What we're doing today is I'm making a cornbread mix. And I'm also making a biscuit mix. I've done this before, but it was many years ago, and I just haven't done it. In fact, I just cleaned out my jar because I thought I had it, and I did. I found it. The last time I made it was back in 2020. So, and we all know 2020, that's just a regular jar. In the pantry, in the everyday pantry, does not last as long as like in a Mylar bag or a vacuum seal bag or a food grade bucket. So I threw that out because I did, I'll put a link on my cornbread mix. It tasted good, but it was so dense, it was so flat because the mix was so old. Okay, because flour does get old. It's not forever. Now, yes, you can store it in a cool, dark place in an airproof type item for about a year or 2, but it still gets old. So there's a time frame involved. So do it, and please do your own research, okay? I'm a firm believer in everybody doing their own research. I'm a rebel canner. I'm a rebel cooker, and I'm learning to be a rebel baker. But when I first make something, I do it exactly like it says, and then from there I tweak it to where I think it needs to be tweaked that suits me and my husband's personal needs. So anyway, what we're going to be doing first, and what I'm doing now is because we're doing this. This is mainly to be a time saver, so I'm going to be putting these in regular quart jars, not the half-a-gallon ones or the gallon ones for long storage. Because simple fact is, we're not going to get into them that often. So what we need to do to make the biscuit mix is calls for 4 cups of whole grain flour, and I'm hoping this is going to be enough for everything. 2 cups of all-purpose flour. If not, I'm going to have to transport all this into another container. 1/4 cup of baking powder. Okay, I got my baking powder. 1/3 cup of whole sugar, such as sucanat. You could do like a coconut sugar. You can do like a maple sugar. And if you don't have it, just use your white granulated sugar if that's what you have. But because we're trying to do this on the low-cal method, we're going to be using the coconut sugar, which is, yes, it's dark. And I know it's going to make it look darker, the biscuit. It's not going to be white, but that's okay because I'm not so worried about look as much as I am taste. And then once I tell hubby that it was made with coconut sugar, he's going to be okay with it because he's really on board now with the weight loss program because he's noticing a difference on himself, which is good. So I got my cornmeal over there ready. I got my little jar lifter lid, canning lid for easy pouring. And okay. Let's get rolling. Okay, so for the biscuit mix, it calls for 4 cups of whole grain flour. You can use whole wheat. And so let me get my cup measure. And this is my freshly ground flour, which is whole wheat that I ground myself. I'll put a link on that video to that too, just so you have it. For those of you who have a grain mill that you can grind your own wheat berries to make your own flour. Now don't forget, remember, I'm always saying, Clean hands, clean table, clean tools. That way if you spill, you can go ahead and put it right back in that container. And you're good to go. Okay, so, I'm a little spilled, but that's okay because y'all all know I'm a messy cook. But I'm actually getting better. So let me move this over to here so I can spread out the excess and it spills directly in the container. And yeah, I should get a bowl and do this because, like I said, I am a messy cook and I know it. But that's okay. You know, I may have enough room for 4 cups. We'll see. It's actually going to be 6 cups because it's 4 cups of flour. You know what? I'm going to have to get another container. So I'm going to bring it back and then we'll go to the next phase. And I'm going to go ahead and put everything together because all I'm doing is measuring and pouring it in here. That's it. Now, if you want a detailed step-by-step video, I would be happy to do that. And I will put in the caption of the video that says step-by-step. That way you'll know it's step-by-step. So it's going to be a longer video. But I'm trying to stay within my 15-minute time frame that I give myself. So I'll bring you back. But I got to get another bowl because I'm definitely going to need a bigger container. Okay, we are back. I went ahead and FYI, definitely get yourself a canning lid. It's so much easier than pouring into these jars. Here's all my dirty dishes, and I did use my little bowl for the excess so I wouldn't spill. Then I used my big bowl to mix everything in, and I just mixed everything with a spoon. It took a few minutes, you know, it didn't take forever and stuff, but I ended up with 1 quart jar of cornbread mix. And almost another full quart. So this made like 2 quarts of cornbread mix. And then on the biscuit mix, I made 1 entire quart. And just a little bit more than half. Okay. So now what I'm going to do next is I'm going to type the directions and I'm going to print them and then I'm going to put them on the back of the jars so that way one of these jars is always going to stay in my regular everyday pantry, and when that jar is empty we can go to the other jar that's going to be in my long-term storage right in front. And then I'm going to date the one that's in the long-term storage because, like I told you in the very beginning, there is a shelf life for flour products. Flour, cornbread, anything that you grain, it does have a shelf life. Yes, if you store it and you buy those number 10 cans, they'll last you 25, 30 years, or pretty much endless as long as it's in a cool, dark place, because it's been vacuum packed by a professional corporation. And so those containers, and I have a bunch of number 10 cans. And I've had some for over 10 years that I just opened up this past year that were perfectly great. I've cooked with them, so there's nothing wrong with it. But when you're doing home processing here in your home, you don't have the right equipment. Most of us, I'm not saying everybody, but most of us do not have the exact equipment that they do at the corporations to do everything better. Now, things are getting better for a lot of people. And, but in my experience, because I've been doing make-ahead mixes for going on 15 years. Okay, but I do it here and there and here and there. It's very sporadic because I'm just before the last 3 years, I was not a cook or a baker, but I've been doing food prepping for over 15 years, almost going on 25. But I'm really been going into it full force with a lot of research and a lot of stuff. Everywhere that I'm reading and all different sites, and I don't just Google. I mean, I Google, yeah, but I go to all different kinds of sites. The National Home Preservation website, all different kinds. And every one of those sites, there's always on there somewhere about a shelf life of an item that's just in your everyday pantry. Now, granted, this is not going to be in my everyday pantry. I'm not going to vacuum pack it because I know this little jar is going to get used up within the first six months to a year. So I'm okay with that. Now my long-term storage, that what's in my long-term storage, I do make sure that it's either vacuum packed or it's in a food grade bucket with an oxygen absorber, depending on what the product, because not all products can take oxygen absorbers. Okay, so I've done that part. So as long as I've done that part, I've done the best that I can here at home. Okay, so this one that's going to go in my long-term pantry, I am going to vacuum seal this, and all I'm doing is going to be putting a coffee filter on the top inside. I don't have it here because that's another video. I'm just going to put a fold of coffee filter here on the top, put my lid in, get my vacuum sealer, seal this lid shut. This when you vacuum seal flour like this will extend it, so it should last a good solid full year in my long-term storage. But I'm almost positive this is going to get used before the next year is even here. But you never know. Because again, like I started off, you know, hubby and I are really trying to cut back on our pastas and breads and stuff like that. So you just never know. But it's nice to know that I have it. So if we have unexpected company, or we're at company, or somebody needs a meal, I'm able to make what I have in my house, and I don't have to go buy it. And I already have it, and I can make something for ourselves or to give to somebody or for entertainment. So anyway, down the next phase, I'm not going to end here, because the next phase is I'm going to make a batch of each one of these. One's a biscuit mix and one of the cornbread mix, and then we're going to do the taste test. But it's way past time. I'm overdue. I'm going to be late for work. So we can't, well, I'm not going to say goodbye, because we're going to go to the next phase of baking these items, and we'll bring you back when we come to that phase, okay? Hey, look at my big mess. I have to clean that up later. All right, we'll see you in a few. Okay, we are back. I'm home from work. Oh, a little poop, but we're good to go. Now we're going to go ahead and put everything together. And recipe asks for, okay, I got the oven on at 400. I've got the iron skillet in there with a a little tab of butter. Okay, so it's in there getting hot. Okay, now we're going to get the big bowl, combine 2 cups of the cornbread mix, which is, here's our mix. 2 cups of this stuff. Okay, that's close enough. That's 1. I'll go just a little bit more. I'll make sure this is a level cup. Since the other one was a short, just a little bit. Okay, that's close enough. 2 cups of the mix. So we're going to combine 2 cups of the mix with 1/4 cup of butter. 1/4 cup of butter. Oops. I gotta bring it back because I gotta melt my butter. I just got out of the fridge. So do that. I got the buttermilk here resting. I got my egg right here resting. Both of the buttermilk and the egg have to be at room temperature. Okay, well they should be. Okay, so let me get my butter and we'll bring it back, and then we'll put everything together, and then we'll put it in the skillet. Okay, we are back. The butter is cooled off. It's been melted. Got my honey poured. I'm doing 1/4 cup of honey. So we're going to add 1/4 cup of butter. Where's my knife? Actually, I'm going to use my spoon. So I'm adding the butter. Let me bring it back so you can see what's going on. There you go. So I'm adding my butter to my mix. So now it says mix it up. And the buttermilk. Actually, I didn't use buttermilk because I don't have any. And so I'm using half and half. Okay, we're going to add the egg at the same time. Let me get a napkin. I got egg here. Break up my yolk, my egg, so I can mix it up good. Because remember, we want this to be lumpy. Mixed, but lumpy. Okay, let me add my honey now. And of course, if you want to taste the batter before you put it in your skillet to make sure it's got enough sugar or sweetener, whatever it is that you're using to sweeten it. You want to mix it, pretty much you kind of want to fold it. You don't want to mix it, you want to fold everything together so all the dry and the wet ingredients get mixed up. But you still need it to be lumpy. But you don't want any powder. You want to make sure it's all mixed up, but you don't want it smooth. Okay, so that looks like it's pretty good to me. And I double check to make sure I went all the way down to the center, which I have. So now let me move you over to the island, because I got to get the skillet out. Let me get myself the big pot holder, because that skillet's going to be heavy. So let's put this down here. Put down the, okay, you're in view. Oh, and see the butter is all in there. Ooh, that's hot. Hot, 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 hot. But we want to make sure the whole pan has got butter all over all of it. All the bottom. There we go. Ooh, yikers, that's hot. Okay. I'm just going to make sure there's a little bit of butter. You see it bubbles? I'm not going to pick this up because this is really, really hot. Now we're going to pour the mixture in. Now we're going to put it in the oven and bake it for 20 minutes. You can hear it sizzling on that hot griddle. Mine's a little dark because remember I used that coconut sugar, not granulated sugar. So mine's a little hard, a little darker in look. Let's do a little taste test. Don't have to add any sweetener to it. And usually when I add sugar to my Jiffy Mix cornbread mix, because hubby and I like it just a little sweet. Now all I'm doing is making it level. I'm smoothing it out just to make it level so it bakes evenly. I'm using a different finger, not the one that I tasted with. And I can see there was a little clump from the spoon that did not mix, but I'm mixing it up right now. Okay, that's mixed up. Okay. Let's get back in the oven now. And it's going to bake. It's on the middle rack, and it's going to bake for 20 minutes. Ooh, this is heavy. Okay, we'll set the timer. We'll bring it back for the taste test. Okay, it's out of the oven. I just took it out. It's gold. It's kind of hard to tell because I used that coconut sugar, but nothing's sticking. Yay! Now we're going to let it rest for 5 minutes. Then I'm going to cut into it and we'll do a taste test. Okay, it's been 7 minutes, which is close enough time. We'll cut into this thing. And let's see how it came out. Oops, it's breaking on me. Let me show you. See how fluffy that is? You can see the steam coming out of it. Let's do a taste test. That skillet is hot. We do the one on the end. See that? Mmm. You can definitely taste the cornmeal. It's not as sweet as I would have liked it, but now I know I'm going to add on my recipe. It asks for a 1/4 cup of honey. I'm going to change it to 1/2 cup of honey because it's very, very hint of sweetness in it. And hubby and I like sweet cornbread. But, you know, this is in our weight program, so we may just leave it the way it is. I mean, this is not an overweight program, but we're cheating. So we can cheat, but we're not going to cheat bad. You can definitely taste the crunchiness. You see the back of it? Let me show you what the upside looks like. See that? That's what the bottom looks like. So, I personally do call this a win-win. No, we just do one win. One thumbs up. I did follow the recipe. But now, since this is my first time making it this full batch, I made it, what was it, 2020 is the last time I made the mix. And I only made it once. We never used the mix after that because we were trying to stay away from breads and stuff. So then my mix got too old because it's already 2 years old. But I'm burning up hot because this thing is hot. The oven's still hot. And it's 76 degrees here at the house. Well, not in the house, but outside. Here it is, January the 11th, 23. And we're in Houston, Texas area. And it's 76 degrees. We just live our Texas weather. You never know. It's like a woman. It's fickle. It changes from one day to the next. But anyway, we thank you so much for watching. We'll catch you in the next video. Bye-bye.